Thank you for auditing the always positive new music review show hosted by a French professor who's going to be doing a review of the new album by Lana Del Rey, the LP called A&W. I'm being facetious. Obviously, it's just one song. It's just one track, A&W. It's not a full album. But as we're going to see, I think we can treat it like an album. Not only does it have multiple different parts to it, which are like different songs, but it has a grandness, an epicness, and a scope that makes me feel like this is, if not the album itself, a real announcement of what the album is going to be. And now that's why I called this video a warning shot. I think Lana Del Rey is putting this out with Jack Antonoff, and they're letting us know, look out. We're going to do our best work. As far as I can tell, this is my favorite lyrics I've ever heard of her. This is my favorite usage of her voice. This is my favorite collaboration with Jack Antonoff. If the whole album is this good, I think this might end up being Jack Antonoff's best project, displacing the St. Vincent album from a couple of years ago. Don't get mad, Taylor stans. I think their work together is great as well. So I think this is sort of a warning shot. It really is. To have this amazing sweep, especially that usage of voice, where I think too often she allows herself to be sort of flanderized, to be sort of a cartoon of either the husky, low, sexy, sultry voice or the sort of high, childish voice. This song feels like it's the best mixture of both. It feels the most real. This feels like the most honest I've ever heard Lana Del Rey. And if the whole album follows suit, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be really good. Now, I was almost going to call this song Lana Del Radiohead. I compare a lot of things to Radiohead. I think their impact on music and their influence on music is still underrated, despite the fact people talk about them all the time. But the sweeping scope of the song, especially in the beginning, the curling layers, the arpeggiated piano notes, the modalities, the slight shift to a minor chord, and then, of course, the general mix of the song of starting with an acoustic dark atmosphere and then ending with an electronic skitchy dark atmosphere, very sort of Radiohead, playing with these themes of abandonment and empty consumerism. To the point where I said to my son, I was going to call this video Lana Del Radiohead. We were listening to it. He liked the song quite a bit this morning. I made him pancakes. He had a tonsil surgery, so he has to eat only soft things. So I had to make him little tiny soft pancakes. And when I said it was Lana Del Radiohead, he was like, wait, really? Are they working together? That's how close it sounds. But I don't want to just say this is just simply aping Radiohead, because it's not. You know, it's more taking the influence. It's that ability to be in that kind of atmospheric space, which takes a lot of talent. But of course, that's forgetting the end part, which is, if anything, a nod to Country Grammar by Nelly, a sort of hip-hop-ish, weird ending bit. And the whole thing reminds me, I often talk about why I love George Lucas's movies so much, in particular his last 3 Star Wars movies, episodes 1, 2, and 3. And there's a thing that he's able to do with his movies where he starts you on one planet, and then you go to a whole bunch of other planets, and then you end on some other planet. And you sort of like look back, and you're sort of like, wait, how did I start here and stop? How did I go from all those places? How was I on such a journey? That's what this song is. It's this long, long journey. Now, it's all united by one rhyme, which I'm going to talk about later. So there's a unified aspect to it. But it has that sense of movement. So it's not epicness in the sense of soaring. You know, it's amazingly restrained. It's not trying to hit you in the feels. It's not trying to get you, but still it has all this movement. But despite all these influences, it's always Lana. It's always Lana Del Rey. Her voice, her perspective is here. Her allegorical, symbolic, confessional lyricism, I'm going to describe each of those terms later, where she's able to write what seems like simultaneously in the first and third person. Hey, listen, sometimes I'm going to be arrogant, okay? So I haven't read any journalism or academic writing on Lana Del Rey. But I'm going to say that again. And if you are writing a paper on Lana Del Rey, feel free to quote me. She writes in the first and third person at the same time. That's how she describes her own life. So I'm going to get into each of those words later. I'm going to do a full breakdown of the lyrics at the end of the video, but you're going to see. I mean, this video about one song is probably going to be longer than most reviews of the full album, but that's because I don't do reactions, you know? You don't need to know, whoa, what is going on? You know, my history of Lana Del Rey, I've talked about it a couple times. The first time I ever heard her, ever, was her disastrous performance of Video Games on Saturday Night Live. I was like, who is this attractive, talentless person? That was the opinion I had. Don't leave. Don't smash the dislike bucket. I was wrong. That was just my first impression. Over time, I started to understand her as being the kind of tragic, broken woman that is sort of the kind of woman that I was attracted to for a long time in my life. Sort of how I responded to the trauma and abandonment I felt in life led me to be attracted to women like that, sort of disastrous, toxic relationships. I've been with Lana's, if that makes sense. So listening to her music is at the same time useful to me because it creates a lot of empathy, because that's the other side of the experience. But at the same time, it's also painful for me because it's like, I know, I get it. You're broken, and now I'm broken, and we're all broken, and we're all living here in this broken world. When I was single, for a brief period of time, and on dating sites, I often noted how popular it was to say that Lana Del Rey was a favorite artist, and I would often think that's sort of a red flag. Because it indicated that we might be in that lane of these sort of broken women who are very in touch with their brokenness. I've come to realize that was just weird sexism on my part. And then there's my daughter. My daughter, who hated, with a capital H, Lana Del Rey for years. I mean, I couldn't put her on for even a second. And now she's busy scooping up her entire back catalog. That's her album in the back there, Born to Die. She got Chemtrails of the Country Club, and we listened to this song 3 times in a row together, like the full 20 minutes. I dropped her off at her crew practice, and I went to the gym. I worked out for an hour and a half, and I listened to this song on repeat the entire time. I must have heard it 11 times, and then I listened to it driving on the way back, and we had this great sort of collective experience. Now, I get it. There's the whole themes of sexuality and horrors and all that. It's fine. Better bad words than bad art. But it's very great because seeing her excitement for this album, that's part of the reason why I'm doing this video, is Lana Del Rey is that class of artist where they release one song, you just got to stop and you got to see what it is. I will say, I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not about A&W root beer or A&W restaurants. One of my best experiences in my life with my now ex-wife was at an A&W restaurant in Russell, Kansas. We were driving cross country from Boston to California, where we lived for a couple of years, well, for a decade. And it was like this just middle of nowhere place, and we got root beer floats and we got hot dogs, and it's this sort of like a little slice of Americana, and there's this sort of like sense of hope, misplaced hope, looking back at it, So it's this kind of real bittersweet moment. But this isn't about that. It's not about my favorite rest stop in Canada off the Queen's Expressway. It stands for American Whore. That's what A&W stands for. But I don't think the fact that she named it A&W is just a joke. The lyrics are the very center of the song. They're the most important thing, and that's why I'm saving them until the end. In general, I would say this is a song about the death of hope, about the resignation, the abdication of hope. Just the sense of, this is who I am, I'm broken, and I will never be fixed. I can keep trying to fill this hole, but the hole will never be filled. I am just going to be a void for my entire life. Now, I mentioned to you that there is a unifying rhyme in this song. That is 9. Okay? The words 9, I haven't done a cartwheel since I was 9, and then that's rhymed at the very end of the song with I've already lost my mind. I think this is on purpose. I think this creates a sort of buckle. It closes the loop on the kind of themes of this song. As far as the production goes, the main word I find here, and this is odd for a 7.5-minute song, but it's restraint. Even at the end where it gets catchy, it's never full pop. Even at the beginning where it's dark, it's never full dark. It's twilight, It's dusk, actually. In the beginning, like there's a couple lines where she sings low and then she goes up high. And that's that kind of vocal acrobatics, which I can often find to be annoying, just sort of showing off for showing off purpose. But actually, when you look into it, when you think about it deeper, it's the passage in the song where she's going from her adult reflections to the voice of a child, which is why she goes up high. So even then, it's so seamless. That's the thing, the whole song, even though it has all these different parts, it's so seamless. And that's the thing. It's unexpected structure. I just reviewed, I've just reviewed, what was the last album I reviewed? It was some pop album, whatever it is. I've been reviewing a lot of like good pop albums, the Paramore. And the thing about the Paramore thing about so many albums is like the pop structure, it becomes oppressive. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched like Star Trek or whatever. If you watch Star Trek and you watch it like without, with ads on TV, you always know where the conflict is going to come and when it's going to be resolved. When you start watching TV, you start watching the same kinds of TV shows, you're able to know at what time it is and what time there's going to be conflict and what time there's going to be the final fight and then what time there's going to be the resolution. There's this arc to every TV show. CSI is the same thing. Law and Order is the same thing. Rockford Files is the same thing. Every TV show, you can just sort of predict it. And with pop writing, it just becomes a little bit oppressive because when you start noticing the structure of verse, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, post-chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, post-chorus, bridge, pre-chorus, chorus, post-chorus, like you just feel it coming. This song doesn't have that at all. How many parts are there to this song? You tell me in the comments. Have you smashed the like bucket yet? Dear God, have you seen how long this video is? About one song? I need like buckets to be smashed. Smash the like buckets like Lana Del Rey's Innocence, okay? That was dark. That's what the song's about, right? So, but I don't want you to smash. I'm gonna take that back. Don't smash the like bucket now. I don't deserve it. That was weird. Feel free to subscribe though. How many parts do you think are in this song? I mean, two parts. The first part and the second part. Okay. Yeah, but the second part even has sort of two parts to it, right? There's the very easy segue from the first part to the electronic part. And then there's the kind of blah sound that leads into the kind of shimmy shimmy Cocoa Pop line. So maybe there's three. But really, if you even listen to the way the song is segmented in the beginning, there's more parts than that. Here's what I came up with. I came up with 11. I came up with 11 different parts. Part 1, guitar and piano, rich guitar notes. The acoustic guitar, the recording on this is why you need someone like Jack Antonoff. This is what separates amateurs from professionals. Like you could just curl up into the guitar sound. Like you could just like the guitar sounds like the first bite of yogurt. You know what I mean? You're not at the end where you're scraping. It's like this just rich, deep guitar sound. It's just so nice. And that piano, the arpeggiated piano lines going, and then she starts singing. And then maybe there's a second part when the drums come in. Restraint. Talking about restraint. What the hell's up with the drums? The drums never really get going here. Never. They seem like they're going to come in, but they don't. They could come in for something sweeping and where you go, ooh, wow, but they don't ever do that. The guitar appears to be like a 12-string guitar. There's maybe a glockenspiel, which I think Lana's actually playing. This is where she's talking about love, not needing love and being a whore. Then we get the next verse where it's just these distorted sounds and there's no guitar, just piano and voice, and the drums are still in the background. The drums are a wisp of drums. That's the drums throughout this whole time. We have some doubled voice here. Maybe the fourth part is the repeat of the second part. The drums are a little bit more assertive, although still wisps, subjugated to the power of the voice, which is now louder. The fifth part, I would say, is the guitar and the low synth and look at my hair and so much space for the lyrics. This song has so much space for Lana Del Rey in her sort of rambling lyrics. Then the seventh part would be the return to the refrain. There's no more now we just have these distorted synthesizers, and then we get to could be the second part, the distorted synths and the simple drum line, the sketchy drums. There's the sound of someone picking up a drumstick. Seriously, listen. If you've ever heard the sound of people picking up drumsticks, that's the way it sounds. Why is that in there when the drummer's basically not playing? Then we get to the sort of funk bit where these snaps that sound like broken snaps. I don't even know how to describe it, but these do not sound like your standard pop snaps, and they don't sound like claps or like claps. They're broken snaps, okay? And then we get the Ricky snare, and then the brutal woo, and then we get to the shimmy shimmy Cocoa Pop time, where she's singing as though she's actually on lean. That's how it sounds to me. And even within that, there's maybe even another part, which I haven't even mentioned here, where there's kind of a weird little orchestral, almost Beatles-like, Sgt. Pepper's-like bit. And then we get to my favorite part of the entire song, the part where she says, I've almost lost my mind, spiritually rhyming with, I haven't seen my mom in a long time, and I haven't done a cartwheel since I was 9, that leads to the explosion at the end. I don't know how many parts there are. 11, 3, 2. The point is, there's lots of planets in this movie. So let's get to my full lyrical analysis, okay? These are my favorite lyrics of hers because she does this thing where she tells personal stories, confessional stories, but then she also makes them allegorical. By that I mean she makes them larger about people in general. That's why I think she's so important as an artist, because she writes from the perspective of a broken woman who has presumably been broken by multiple different forms of patriarchy and sexual abuse. That's the feeling that I get. That's the position that she seems to come from. And there are a lot of women like that, in that position, and they don't really have a champion. Okay? Because you can't be a champion just like, I'm every woman, it's all in me. If you feel broken and you feel used and you feel abused, you're not going to sit there and listen to, you can't break my soul, you can't break, and you're not necessarily going to connect to that. Like, you actually might need somebody who can talk about your experience and get that through. So everything that she sings has this ability to be allegorical and confessional at the same time. It's real and it's imagined. It's in the first person and the third person. She's talking about herself, but then she's also talking about herself, the character. She's watching herself, which is a thing that many traumatized people say they feel when they act out their traumas. They feel as though they are watching themselves. And that's the saddest part of this whole thing, is you get the sense that she's watching herself and she's abdicating, she's giving up. Everything that's in the song has happened and nothing in the song has happened. It's all imaginary and all completely real. She is on the floor at the Ramada right now, and she is in Rosemead singing this song with Jack Antonoff. Verse 1, I haven't done a cartwheel since I was 9. Beautiful, simple symbol of childhood and freedom, especially young girls. You know, I could never do a cartwheel, but I knew lots of girls who could do cartwheels, you know? Like the image of summertime and childhood and innocence. Age of 9 is before 10, before double digits, before preteen, before presumably any amount of development of body and sexual abuse by other people. Okay, that's that sense that we're getting. I haven't seen my mother in a long, long time. Doubled long indicating it's important, meaning it's double, long, long time. So immediately we have this sense that whatever happened to her that made her stop doing cartwheels, it is a result of her mother's actions or inactions. Painful details. Painful details. That's what this is. Cartwheels, I haven't talked to my mother. Abandonment. Neglect. What caused her to be the American whore? We're right here in the beginning. And then here's where she sings up high. I mean, look at me, look at the length of my hair, my face, the shape of my body. What I see in this is ambiguity. I see anger at her own physical beauty, at the fact that she grew up to be sexually attractive, that she has long hair and the shape of her body. It feels like an angry yell at her mother. Do you really think I give a damn what I do after years of just hearing them talking? The most hard to track down lyric, who talking? Is this like the way men talk about her? Who's them? Hearing them talking. This is the great mystery of this song, which I think personally, hey, can you tell me, what do you think? Who's them? I'm not being facetious here. I'm not just trying to get engagement. I don't know. Who is them talking? Years of what do I do after years of hearing them talking? I believe it's talking about her physical beauty or talking about women in general. I say I live in Rosemead, but I'm really at the Ramada. Listen, I get it. I'm lucky. You remember how I said I moved out to California with my then girlfriend, future ex-girlfriend, future wife, future ex-wife. Well, I stayed in California, but I actually broke up with her for a while before getting back together with her and marrying her. I had a very Lana Del Rey 20s myself. And I lived in LA. I lived in LA when I broke up with her because she hated LA and I loved LA. Terrible place to visit, great place to live. And Rosemead's in the valley, and this whole album is going to be very LA, very valley-ish. She's been headed that way anyways. I don't think you can actually fully understand Lana Del Rey's music unless you have very deep understanding of Los Angeles. I don't mean to be a jerk, but I think that's true. So really, Rosemead is just not a particularly rich part of the valley, but part of the valley and all the cultural signifiers that are included with the idea of being in the valley. So being in Los Angeles, but not being in the center of it. But I'm actually at a Ramada, meaning a cheap motel. So here's the idea. She's presenting herself as being one thing, but in reality, she's in some other place. It doesn't really matter, doesn't really matter. This repetition, again, much like not seeing the mom in a long, long time, really doesn't matter. Because guess what? It does matter, but she's given up. It does matter. She should be in Rosemead. Spiritually, she should be in Rosemead, but she can't. She's in a Ramada having sex for money. Not really, but we'll get into that metaphor. Call him up, come into my bedroom, ended up, we F on the hotel floor. It's not about having someone to love anymore. This is the experience of being an American whore. So I don't think it's literal, right? I don't think she's actually getting paid to have sex. I think what she's talking about is whore as she's describing the way a whore lives because she keeps on calling people up to a hotel room and having sex with them, which is what some whores do, some prostitutes do. But I think it's more that she is feeling like she's sexually promiscuous. So whore, instead of being actual sex for money, meaning someone is promiscuous, a synonym for slut, okay? But what I think she's trying to do is she's talking about her abdication again. She gave up on her mom when she stopped doing cartwheels. She got this body, and she doesn't even give a damn anymore what she does with it because of the way they talk. And now here she is, and she's giving out her body, and she's taking other people's bodies, and it doesn't matter anymore because it's not about having someone to love anymore. The meaning of life, the joy in life, the happiness in life comes from human connection. It doesn't come from anything else. It doesn't come from drugs. It doesn't come from money. It doesn't come from success. It only comes from human connection. That's the only source of true human joy. Period. I'm sorry, I know you love your cats and your dogs, but the only real source of human joy is human connection, okay? If you're lonely, go play bingo. I'm serious. Reach out. Say hi to your mailman, okay? Seriously, okay? Just that's the source of happiness. But she's giving up on love. And so that's what this is, that she's giving up. She's not a romantic, sexy whore. American. So American is annoying, right? Because way too often people just throw the word American into something and then just walk away. Just like, all right, well, I said what I needed to say. I said American. I didn't say pillow. I said American pillow. So obviously it has a deep meaning. It's not just beauty. It's American beauty. But I think the way that American can be interesting, I think that's what the case is here, is American is a sort of substitute for consumerist. A consumerist whore. Somebody who consumes other people and is consumed by other people. Now, this is the cycle of consumption, the cycle of abuse. This is what happens. You become a broken person, and when you're a broken person, you have a void inside you that you need to fill. And the two most common ways to fill that void are drugs and sex. Because that's what you think. If I have sex, that means I'm desirable. That's it. It means I'm not worthless. If you have drugs, it quiets your mind down, the part that makes you think that you're worthless, okay? Alcohol and drugs, same thing, right? So this whole song, when we think about it in that context, she is an American whore, meaning she is a consuming and consumed whore. She's been consumed by men, abused by men. That's broken her, and she has this void, and she's just giving up, laying back on the hotel floor, and inviting men up to have sex with her. And that's filling the void to a certain extent. But of course it's not, because it's just sad. Verse 2, calling up one from, then calling another. Again, it's this never ending. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't even talk about A&W. There is an importance. Before I get to verse 2, there is an importance to A&W. A&W is an American consumer product. They make wonderful root beer floats, okay? Cream soda, underrated soda. Tell me in the comments, what's your favorite soda? I'm kidding, don't. Unless you hate this video, in which case, you can tell me you hate this video by telling me what your favorite soda is. I'll read it and go, damn. Birch beer, huh? A&W is a consumer product. Soda is the great example of American consumer products. So I do think it's on purpose that she's using a brand because she's talking about an American whore would be a brand, A&W, those things mixing together. I don't think it's just a funny, cute little quote. I don't think she's using it to get around censors. Okay, Verse 2, calling up one from, then calling another, the never-ending hole to fill. Forensic Files wasn't on, watching Teenage Diary of a Girl, wondering what went wrong. Forensic Files is like a true crime TV show. I'm not going to get into it now, but there is definitely a lot of interesting research on why true crime is so appealing to young women and middle-aged women. There's a sociological thing about the way that patriarchy hurts women and the helplessness. Anyways, I'm not going to get into it, but there's a whole series of things which, frankly, I'm not qualified to go into now. But I did hear an interesting article once somewhere. Maybe it was a podcast about it. I don't know what. But instead, she ends up watching Teenage Diary of a Girl, which is this movie about a girl who has a relationship with her mom's boyfriend. Obviously, very clearly, this sort of like multi-generational, that's an abusive relationship between the adult and the teenager. It's sort of implying all these things. Like, there's no clear picture. She's not saying, I did a cartwheel, then I turned 12, then I had a body, then I got raped by my mom's boyfriend. She's not saying that, because that's not necessarily the truth. But it's the truth. It's the meaning of the song, but it's not to be taken literally. It's not to be decoded. There's no special decoder ring where you go, aha, rose mead. Well, mead is a kind of drink, and rose is a kind of... No, it's not that. She's not sending you on some kind of scavenger hunt. It's this feeling, where even if she's not talking about her actual experience, I don't know. I don't even know if her parents were divorced. I don't know if her mom had a boyfriend. I don't know if she slept with her mom's boyfriend. I don't know if her mom was famous and if her mom had a famous boyfriend. I don't know. I don't know if this is all about Jack Nicholson. I don't know, okay? But I do know that this kind of relationship, these kinds of boundary pushing, this kind of sexualization of young women is what she's suffering from and is the plight that she's describing. I'm a princess, I'm divisive, ask me why I'm like this, maybe I just kind of like this. Oh, the most painful line in the whole song. You thought it was the other stuff, but this is it. This is the worst. So I have to say it like, babe, this is the worst part of the song. It's the worst part of the song. Because maybe I just kind of like this is her implying that she wants to live this way. If she wants to live this way, that means it's her fault. So if she's just lying on the ground, lying on the floor, calling up random men to have sex with her and use them, that's what she actually wants. This is the most hurtful thing about so much of this behavior, is that because, having sex and doing drugs is fun, right? I hope that's not what I'm remembered for. It's not the quote. Professor Sky says, having sex and doing drugs is fun. Half that's true. But like, it's not. The way she's doing it is not. The way she's doing it is sad and is filling this hole. But because it's something which is in theory fun, it's like she's taking responsibility. And we're going to get into that later. Then we get back to the pre-chorus. I say I live in Rosemead, really I'm at the Ramada. It really doesn't matter. Call him up, he comes over again. Yeah, I know I'm over my head. It's not about having someone to love anymore. This is the experience of being an American whore. This word experience just keeps really sticking out to me. Because this is not about what it's like. It's about the experience of being. There's a weird distance implied in this lyric. The experience of being an American whore. Lana, these lyrics are great. I mean, look at my hair, look at the length of my hair, the shape of my body. If I told you I was raped, do you really think anybody would think I didn't ask for it? Hey. Really just jumped right to the R word there. Whew. Okay. This is very connected to the previous line where she said, I think I like it. This is that guilt. A lot of victims of sexual abuse feel guilt because some part of them physically reacted positively. This happens all the time. You can read in all sorts of books about sexual trauma. It's always a part of it. And so here she is. This is tying into that previous line. Think I didn't ask for it. And the way that she sings it, this is like the only time where she's like speeding up and she's trying to get all the words in. It's like she's panicked. Did you really think I didn't ask for it? I I didn't ask it. No, I already effed up my story to testify. So she's essentially saying that she can't do anything because she is projecting that she wants this when she really doesn't. I'm on top of this, so many other things you can't believe. Did you know I sing? I can still be looking like a side piece at 33. The sense of desperation and longing that's involved in this, that she's 33, theoretically past the age of physical beauty, whatever. Theoretically past her peak, but she can still be a side piece. She can still be consumed by men as this, the sadness of this, the desire to hold on to being able to be a side piece, when of course when you're a side piece, you're having sex, but you're not having that real connection that leads to real happiness. God's a charlatan, don't look at me. Puts the shower on while he calls me, safe and sound. That daughter talked to me. I'm invisible. I know how you hold me. I'm invisible. I'm a ghost now. Women, as side pieces, as mistresses, become invisible, become like ghosts, but also it's like her own corporality is disappearing. The more she's giving in to this sexuality, this hurt, damaged, abused, void-filling sexuality, the more she's disappearing. And it's even the wispiness of her voice, even the wispiness of the drums. This is how to disappear completely, okay? It's a Radiohead song, but it fits. Okay, this is how she's disappearing. The more she's having sex with these random jimmies who come up. I don't mean that as the rap slang for penises, but it works. All these random jimmies who come up and have sex with her, the less and less corporeal she becomes. It's not about having someone to love anymore. Just, she keeps saying that. That's the abdication. It's about the experience of being an American whore. And then we get to this weird second part with the dropping drumsticks. Who is Jimmy in this song? So we have this beautiful instrumental section, which is sort of like the weird emotional core of the song. It's like this little transition from one part to the next where you hear the experience of American whore, Mr. Wayne, American whore, like in the background just a little bit, and then it becomes this full-on Jimmy, Jimmy, Cocoa Puff, Jimmy, Jimmy, ride, Jimmy, Jimmy, Cocoa Puff, Jimmy, get me high. Who is Jimmy? Jimmy is all men, I think. Jimmy is all men, all users, all men that she uses. All boyfriends, all broken people. All the people in her life that is not love. It's not about love anymore. This is the experience of being an American whore. Jimmy is every single man in her life that she does not love. And the relationship that she has with these men is one of consuming. She consumes their penis. They consume her vagina. They consume drugs together, period. That's it. Using, using, using. Jimmy, get me high. Love me if you love enough, you can be my lie. Jimmy only love me when he want to get high. She only wants him to get high. He only wants her to get high. Consuming. A&W root beer. Okay? So much A&W root beer, it falls down your cheek, and then you have a sticky cheek with the root beer, and then the bees come, okay? The yellow jackets from the trash can, okay? At Russell, Kansas, at the A&W, all right? They're swirling around your ice cream on the top of your root beer float, and that's sex, and you're smoking dope, and you're having sex, and you're drinking root beer, and all you're trying to do is fill that hole, and you just can't do it. Your mom called. I told her, you're effing up big time. Now all of a sudden we're back to moms. Oh, back to moms. But your mom called. I told her you're effing up big time. So is this Lana Del Rey talking to Jimmy's mom, or is this Jimmy talking to Lana Del Rey's mom? It can be both. It is both. It is both, because they're both effing up. We've now gotten into a complete and total codependent toxic relationship. I am in Russell, Kansas right now, okay? Have you ever been in Russell, Kansas? Have you ever been in Russell, Kansas? I've been in Russell, Kansas at the A&W. That's what this is. Like your mom called, like the immaturity of that, and the connecting with her mom as well, and these lines over and over again. Jimmy, you should switch it up, maybe lie it up. Maybe if you leave the house, find me in the club. Maybe if you switch it up, you should lie it up. If you leave me in the club, I don't care, baby. I've already lost my mind. And when she says that, that's what, like, her voice falls in and out of sync. While right before it says, lost my mind, this is the small crescendo. This is my favorite part in the entire song. I'm just going to say this is my favorite part of the whole album. I haven't heard the whole album, but there's not going to be anything better than Baby, I Already Lost My Mind. She's lost her mind. She's lost her hope. She is just spread out on the floor with her root beer, okay? And root beer is everything. Jimmy, Jimmy, Cocoa Puff, Jimmy, Jimmy, Ride. Now, there's another part of this. I mentioned Nelly, okay, the song Country Grammar. Country Grammar was a rap song from 2002, I want to say, maybe a little bit earlier, a pop rap song by St. Louis rapper Nelly. Down, down, baby, your street in a Range Rover, boom, baby, ready to let it out, shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Pop, listen to me now, light it up and take a puff, listen to me now, okay? It's this very simple song. It's actually based on an old children's game. So a whole bunch of things happening here. This rap connection, obviously Lana Del Rey is very interested in rap. She talks a lot about rap music and loving rap music. She's worked with rap artists. She has that kind of cachet. This is the pop part of the song. The pop part of the song is never fully pop because it's too depressing and too weird and too oddly produced, right? But she's quoting Nelly in the way that it sounds. But the thing that Nelly's quoting is a little children's rhyme. Down, down, baby, down, down by the roller coaster. Sweet, sweet baby, I'll never let you go. Shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Pop, shimmy, shimmy, pow. Shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Pop, shimmy, shimmy, wow. Okay? It's one of those things, you know? Patty cake, patty cake. It's that kind of thing. So, it's important because that implies innocence. We're tying back again to the beginning. When she's 9 years old and doing cartwheels. She's doing cartwheels at 9. And now she's lost her mind. Cartwheels and little children's games. Loss of innocence. Abuse. Loss of place. Loss of self. Never-ending consumption. This is the experience of being an American whore. These are my Patreons. I am going to buy this album the second it comes out. I'm going to go down to Record Archive in Rochester, New York. I'm going to buy this album the second it comes out. I might, if they're open at midnight, I'm going to go at midnight. I am so excited about this album. It seems like they've really done it. It seems like Jack Antonoff has finally perfected whatever the hell he's been doing for the past 5 years. So thanks to these people, I'll be able to afford buying the album. Of course, I'm just going to immediately give it to my daughter. All right, well then. Until next time. There's the camera.